Under Armour, a sports apparel company, which today is one of the most recognizable brands in the world of sportswear. Seeing the success of the company, one wouldn't believe that the company was created by a guy who was thrown out of high school after failing 2 classes. Soon to be a $15 billion sports apparel company, Under Armour was started by Kevin Plank in his grandma's basement. Sadly, the company, which was once heralded as the next Nike, is seeing its sales and stock price plummet over the last few years, leading some to believe that the company's best days are behind it. So, let's find out how Under Armour got so big in so little time, and then managed to create a huge mess. After getting thrown out of Georgetown Prep, Plank was transferred to St. John's College High School in Washington, D.C. He achieved a B average, and in his senior year, he became the MVP of the St. John's Football Championship and received honorable mention recognition on USA Today's All-USA High School Football Team. After graduation, he decided to play a year of football at Fork Union Military Academy in Fork Union, Virginia, where he met 13 future National Football League players, including future Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George. These connections served him well when he launched Under Armour. The following year, despite having received scholarship offers from other schools, Plank decided to attend Maryland as a walk-on player. After being redshirted his first year, Plank played fullback and linebacker, was special teams captain, and didn't miss a practice in 5 years. He also earned a scholarship for his final 2 years. During his time at St. John's, Plank was always cutting his football shirts in half and was also known to be the sweatiest guy on the football field. As a result, he was always focused on how he could make a shirt that would wick sweat away from the body. The idea finally struck when he was sitting in his dorm room during his senior year at Maryland. He bought a fabric that he thought could combine the snug fit of a Hanes cotton t-shirt and the lightness and fast-drying texture of synthetic, stretchy fabrics. After this, he found a tailor outside College Park and paid him $480 to sew 7 prototypes, and then had his football teammates and athletes from other Maryland teams test them. To fund his dream during college, Plank saved about $20,000 by selling t-shirts at concerts, and in addition to it, he also ended with $40,000 in credit card debt. After graduating in 1996 with a bachelor's degree in business administration, Plank got into his car and drove to New York City's Garnet district with 500 shirts and phoned every equipment manager in the Atlantic Coast Conference that would listen to him. He also reached out to his former football teammates and had them spread the word about the shirts. He initially decided to name the company Body Armour, but one day Plank heard one of his brothers mistakenly call Body Armour Under Armour. He loved the name, and hence Under Armour was born. During the initial years, Plank operated Under Armour through his grandma's home, and by the end of 1996, Under Armour generated $17,000 in revenue purely by word of mouth. The next year, the company received $100,000 in orders and had to rent a factory in Ohio to make the shirts. 3 years after launch, the company finally made a profit in 1998. Soon after launching, Plank had the opportunities to get his gear in the football movie Any Given Sunday, as well as on Miami Dolphins players including Dan Marino before a nationally televised game. On both occasions, he was asked to give the products away. This was a promotional opportunity almost anyone else would have done anything to take part in, especially in Plank's position of only having just moved the business out of his grandmother's basement a year before. Instead, he believed that his product was valuable and that giving it away would devalue the brand. So on both occasions, he persuaded the groups and managed to get them to pay a fair price for the gear, which is why he says that by making a great product and selling it at a fair price, you don't need to give it away. According to Kevin Plank, they were paid around $40,000 for the gear they supplied to the Any Given Sunday production house. With the Stone movie about to be released, Plank also decided that Under Armour needed to tell its story. So instead, Plank invested all of the company's savings, which amounted to $25,000, on an ad in ESPN magazine. The move was a success, and Under Armour generated close to $750,000 in sales from the publicity it gained for the ad. In 2001, Under Armour became the official supplier of the National Hockey League and had licensing deals with Major League Baseball and USA Baseball. That gave its name even greater appeal and the validation it needed to secure key sponsorships. And by next year, Under Armour managed to get its products in 2,500 stores across the country. Fast forward to November 2005, Under Armour went public, trading at NASDAQ, and became the first US-based initial public offering in 5 years to double on its first day of trading. 5 years later, Under Armour surpassed $1 billion in annual sales. The company's Protect This House marketing campaigns were working to solidify Under Armour as a male-centric, high-performance-focused brand. Under Plank's tenure, it also signed deals with athletes including Muhammad Ali, golfer Jordan Spieth, and NBA star Stephen Curry. But in recent years, the focus on performance hyped by Plank became the reason for Under Armour's struggles. Athleisure wear, more comfortable items worn like joggers, women's leggings, and yoga pants, have exploded in popularity in the US, boosting Lululemon and pushing Nike and Adidas to invest more in fashion-forward appeal. However, instead of doing the same, Under Armour has largely been sitting on the sidelines of the trend and is currently working to grow its women's business, something that hasn't been as much of a priority in the past. According to Matt Powell, analyst at NPD Group, mid-2015 was the last time we saw any growth in performance shoes, and we've been in an athleisure trend ever since. Brands that remained focused on performance have struggled, and Under Armour is one of them. Under Armour bought MapMyFitness in 2013 for $150 million, followed by Endomondo for $85 million and MyFitnessPal for $475 million in 2015. The acquisitions of the fitness and health-focused apps and technology were part of the company's efforts to expand its digital offerings, which currently seems to not be working. On December 5th, 2016, Under Armour reached a 10-year agreement with Major League Baseball to become the official on-field uniform provider of the MLB. However, in May 2018, it was reported that Under Armour would be backing out of the deal with MLB, saving the company about $50 million. On February 7th, 2017, 2 weeks into the presidency of Donald Trump, CEO Kevin Plank expressed his support for the administration and its friendliness to corporations.
He's highly passionate. To have such a pro-business president is something that's a real asset for this country.
These statements immediately drew strong public backlash, with many Under Armour customers boycotting the brand. On August 14, 2017, Plank removed himself from President Trump's Manufacturing Jobs Initiative Council, but the damage had already been done. The same year, the company's stock fell more than 40%. And it reported its first quarterly loss ever. The same year, 5 top executives left the company. If this wasn't enough, during the same time, Under Armour started to lose appeal among its former customer base, and shockingly, teens were abandoning the brand in huge numbers. To make matters worse, it emerged that executives and employees of Under Armour had been charging the company for visits to strip clubs with athletes or coworkers. This practice was put to an end earlier in 2018, but it didn't help the company's image. Then, in October 2019, Kevin Plank announced that he would be stepping down by 2020, and COO Patrick Fisk would succeed him as CEO in January 2020. The athletic apparel retailer stated that its top 2 executives, founder and executive chairman Kevin Plank and CFO David Bergman, had received Wells notices from the SEC on July 22, 2020. However, the notices themselves are not a determination that there have been any legal violations, the company noted in its disclosure. In May 2020, it was revealed that Under Armour was delaying the payments to some of its athletes due to the fallout from the pandemic as a cost-cutting measure after first quarter sales plummeted by 23%. And then, in September of 2020, it announced that it would lay off 600 employees globally. In late October, it announced that it would be selling off MyFitnessPal to investment firm Francisco Partners for $345 million, which is far lower than the $475 million it paid for the app. In November 2020, Under Armour announced a new brand in partnership with the NBA star Stephen Curry, called the Curry brand. The launch of this new brand follows Under Armour's recent quarterly earnings, resulting in $1.43 billion in revenue. Thanks for watching. For more awesome content, subscribe to Discover.